Okay guys, welcome to lesson 4 where we are going to be building a 4-poster bed. So first things first, just like in the other scenes, this is a new scene I've just loaded up. Press A to select all and then press X and delete. Let's delete everything first. Let's bring in a reference image by shifting A. Shift A, image reference. Let's have a look. Oops. There's our 4-bed post. There you go. So we'll bring that in, we'll press N on the keyboard, we're going to go to our item, and then rotation, we're going to set that to 0 on the X, and 0 on the Y and Z. Let's rotate that actually on the X 90 degrees, and then push that back, like so. We're just going to use this as a reference. So I'm pressing G to move and S to scale there. So that's what we're going to use as guidelines as we build this bed. So let's start up our scene, because as we go through I want to put in seams and texture to be used for when I'm using textures or later on. So I like to open up our sides panel here. We're going to go into our UV editor. I'm just going to click and drag. I'm going to make a shader editor there. We're going to just shorten that down a bit. There you go. We're just going to click new. We're going to call this secret. And then we're going to change the pixel size. Let's change that to 4K. So that is 44096. And then we're going to drop down to color grid and then click new image. So that is going to be our default image throughout. Let's also create a material, but we've got this selected so we can't at the moment. So first things first, let's bring in a mesh cube, and then we'll go down to materials, click new material. I'll call this just C grid for now, and then I'm going to click up here, drag this down into our shader editor, just leave that above there, and then over here we're just going to select the drop down arrow and go to texture. And now any object with this material on, we will now see it with the grid. So we'll manipulate our shapes and change them, and then we'll come back to this to have a look at the way the texture is laying on the objects. So for now, I'm just going to switch it from texture to object. Also, I like to sometimes we'll go back to material, click this drop down arrow, and then go to trying to find cavity, but that's fine. Oh, it's there. There it is. Cavity. Keep it an object. I like an object. So we can leave it like that for now. So let's start by doing the slats underneath the bed. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this cube. We're going to press SZ. We're going to scale that down. So about 0.1. That looks okay to me. And then we'll scale it down on the y-axis and just push that in like so. Say 0.15. Yeah, that looks okay. I'm going to scale that up now just on the x-axis. So it's going to be like a double bed. So let's scale it up to say about 3. We could always scale it up at the end if it's too small or too big, but we'll scale this up maybe at the end. So if I just scale it up a little bit more actually, so about, if I just undo that scale Z, so that's about 3. Let's go 4. Okay, 4 is good. Yeah, that's better. Nice big bed. So let's now what we're going to do is I want to go into edit mode. I'm going to select these two side bits here, and I want to remove these two faces. X and delete faces. I'm going to now press number 2 for edge select, press A to select all, and then I'm going to press Control B, and then pull out the mouse. We're going to make these beveled a little bit. I'm going to press C so they stop crossing over, as you can see, when you're pulling your mouse away. I'm going to scroll wheel up one seam. Actually, I'm gonna have no edges. I'm gonna leave it the way it is. Now I could leave it like that and have a four-sided, keep it nice low poly. But I think I'm going to put it like this for now, 0.5. That looks fairly decent. Because then when I go back into object mode and right click smooth, that looks decent enough for like a pole. We're going to go for like a metal look for underneath. So now I'm going to go to the modifiers and just add a modifier. And we're going to generate an array. And we don't want it on the x-axis, we want to put it on the y. So on the x we want to put 0, and on the y here we want to put -1, because we are going down. If you look at the gizmo, -1 is going to the right here, as I'm looking at this at the screen. And we want to increase the count, but we also want to increase the gap in between. So increase the gap is -1 and above. So if I put say 1.8, and then we'll increase the count to say about 14. Okay, let's just adjust this a little bit. Oh no, we'll put -2. -2.2 maybe. Yeah, there you go, that looks about right. Roughly something like that. It's okay, we can always modify it and change it later on. I'm going to leave it like that for now. If we go back into edit mode, as you can see, we can just edit this one, which will then change the rest of them. For now, I'm just going to edge select and select this bottom edge here, and then right click and mark seam. The reason I selected this edge is because the seam is facing down and it's out the way. So if I did decide to use a texture and it's not seamless, you're not going to see it. You're not going to see the seam because it's going to be under the facing down underneath. So if you're looking above, you're not really going to see it. So that's pretty good. So I just press 3 and press A to select all. Now it's over here on our UV editor. So this is what it looks like at the moment. I'm just going to press U, reset, UV unwrap. That's still not the correct, by the way, in the UV editor. As you can see, these are long faces, so that therefore it should be looking in lengthways. That would be because of the transforms and the locations. So all I'm going to do is press Control A, oops, go into object mode, press Control A, and reset transforms. Now, in this case, I can press Control A and reset transforms because we originally started the origin point on 0, 0, 0. Therefore, the array is looking like and hasn't changed. If you've started this and your origin point's not in the right way and your array looks different, that might be why. But now I've reset all transforms, which is here under Control A. Normally you just reset the location, rotation or scale, whichever one you want to reset. But I always just do all three of them just to make sure. However, if you do want to edit it and move it around later, you could look more into using the global and local tools in doing so, which I'll cover in later lesson. So now, if I go into edit mode, press U and reset and unwrap, now you can see the difference on this pole. And then if we go over to our drop down up here and look at texture, you can now see the texture is going one way. And you can see it's because it's the array modifier, it's selecting all of them. It's putting it on all of them, which is duplicating this first one here. If you don't like it, you could always come over into the UV editor and you can press R to rotate 90 degrees. And then as you can see, press G in the UV editor and just line that up in here. For those of you who might have an add-on called UV Pack Master, it is a paid add-on, I will warn you. You can just turn the rotation enable off and just pack. What that will do, I'll change the margin and click back again. What that will do, it will just pack it nicely, evenly inside your UV grid here. So I'm going to leave it like that for now. That looks okay. So I'm going to just go back up here. I'm going to go back to object. I'm going to leave it on object for this now. So now let's put in the sides of the bedpost, because we're going to put in the sides and make a bed frame all the way around. So there's a few ways you could do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in, say for example, just one side of the post. So after I've deselected the object, I'm going to press Shift A, bring in a cube. I'm now going to scale that down to about, say, 0.2, 0.25, and then I'm going to press scale. Actually, I'm going to move it along GX. We're going to move it along here, and then we're going to edit mode. I'm going to select this face, press number 3 for face select. Select this face, GY, pull that up here. We'll go -9 and keep that nice like that. I'm going to select all and just press GY and just sort of roughly put it in the center like so. Don't worry too much about if it's touching or if it's inside. For now, it's not too much. It's not too much of a bother. You can use the snapping tool if you prefer, and you can snap it right on the edge, and I can show you how to do that. Press number 3, have this active in edit mode, and because we know the edges along the poles here have vertices, we can click up here, go onto active element. So what that means is, oh no, sorry, that was the wrong tool. We'll go up here to the snapping tool, go to active and vertex. For now I will leave that on active element because this is our active element, this face, so we can select the whole object. This is our active element, and also we want to snap it using the active towards a vertex. So this isn't the active, this is the vertex, which we can't see, but we know there's one there on the end of the pole. So we press GX, hold Control, because to activate the snap, as you can see, the little square, it shows you what vertex it's snapping to. So now, as you can see, it's aligned right on the edge of that face. So that's looking really good. If you want to align it up and make it perfect, you can always press GY. You can snap it to, again, that face, just with that one face selected. Snap it to that vertex, and then GY, snap it to that vertex. So now that is equal between each side. You can then select both each faces and then press scale on the Y. Make sure you change up here back to medium point because it is calculating on which one the active is. So scale Y, and you can actually increase that because we will need to put a pole going across. So I'm going to put 1.2. There you go, that looks good. So 1.2. Yep, that looks good. So now I'll go back into object mode and I want to mirror this across. As you can see, the origin point is over here. We're going to reset that origin point and put it onto 0, 0, 0. So the same method like we did with the metal bars. We're going to press Control A, reset all transforms, and then go over to our modifier, add modifier, generate mirror. So it automatically selects the x-axis, which is exactly correct. So we like that. That's fantastic. Now we're just going to go back into edit mode. Again, I'll come back to editing these with the UV unwrap because we might change them. So I'm not going to UV unwrap these for now because we will be modifying these later on. But for now, let's select this and I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to press Shift D and I'm just going to bring it along the y-axis, x-axis. Don't worry about the mirror modifier. We're just going to now right click on this and go to separate selection, and then we're going to go into object mode. You see how it's gone darker orange? Just make sure it's the main selection like so. Make sure you've always selected it before you cancel or change anything. Just for now we're going to remove the mirror modifier. And we're actually now going to rotate this rotate it 90 degrees on the z-axis. So it's like that. Okay, if rotating it from the origin point, that's not too much of an issue. We can now just right click and set origin to geometry. So now the origin's now gone to the center of the geometry. So we can now press G Shift Z. So what that does when pressing Shift Z, it annihilates the angle on the z-axis, so you can move this along the x and y without worrying about if it's in line. So we could just place it there for now. I think you can see what we're going to do. We're now going to snap it to this. So it's the same pole all the way around. So we press tab, press number 1 to select, press number 1 for vertex, A to select all. I'm going to double click on this vertex, and then I'm going to press G to move and hold Control. As you can see, we can snap it into place like so. What I'm going to also do is I'm going to select this face and then delete it. So there's no Z clipping inside. So as you can see, that is now nicely joined to there. And we're going to do the same on this side. So I'm going to press number 3 for face select. Select that face, GX, bring that down, hold Control, snap that onto that vertex. So we now know it's on the face. So let's press X, delete the face. We don't need that face. And then this time, because we know these poles here are symmetrical each side, we're going to mirror this so it sits in place on the other side. So instead of pressing Control A and resetting the origin point, what we're going to do is I'm going to select these, and then I'm going to press right click, set origin, origin to geometry. But before I do that, I'm just going to confirm the mirror modifier. So you can press Control A or just click drop down and apply. So I'm going to now right click, set origin, origin to geometry. So we now know that's the center. So we can actually either press Shift S, cursor to selected, to that origin point. Then we can select on this, and then we can right click, set origin to 3D cursor, and now use the mirror modifier. So we go to generate, add mirror, mirror on the x-axis, and then that should look good like that. Right, so I quite like the look of that. That's not a problem, that looks good. Right, if that's all lined up and all looks like this, not a problem. Now let's just add in some bedposts. So let's just go to mirror. I'm going to apply this for now. If you ever needed to add a mirror back on, just delete one part. You can easily just select the whole part by pressing L, select in edit mode. You can always delete it and then mirror it again if you want to make changes on one. Keep that in mind because sometimes when you're doing UV unwrapping, when you're just doing it on one piece, you can always mirror it to save yourself some extra time on building. So let's add in a bedpost. These do look like a little bit too thick. So let's say we want to edit these now. We want to reduce them so they don't look so thick. Not a problem. What we could do is we could either scale it up and then scale it down later. So we can go into tab. I'm just going to select these two sides and press scale on the X. I'm just going to push that in a little bit. So 0.95. Yeah, that looks better. And then again on these ones, I'm going to select this face, and then just scale on the Y. 0.95. There you go. That looks better. You could always now select these two faces, press GY, and just snap it to the ends. And then the same again, select these two faces, GY, hold control, and snap it to the ends. There you go. That looks a little bit better, but we can always change it later on as well. So let's add the feet in. So I'm going to select these side bits. Let's add in 2 edge loops on this side. But before we do that, I want to mirror it to the other side, so I don't have to do twice as work. So I'm just going to press number 3. Just press L on this side, and press X and delete. So make sure I've deleted all the faces I have. So we know the origin point is staying there where the 3D cursor is. So we know when we mirror this, it's going to be exactly in the same place. So I'll go to edit mode, Control R, put in 2 edge loops, left click to confirm, right click to cancel, so that puts them in place. So scale along the y-axis. Let's go, what happens at 3, goes to the end, 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 is not too bad. 2.85, 2.75. Yeah, let's do 2.6, 7. 2.65. Yeah, that'll do. 2.65, like just something like that. So I'm going to grab these two, and then I'm just going to extrude and bring that down. Bring that down to 0.85, I think. Yeah, it looks about right. So we're just using guidelines from the picture. We're not going to copy it exactly. So yeah, that's not too bad. I actually just want to, oops, just drag it down, oops, on the z-axis. Make sure you have the z-axis activated. You can just press that. When you extrude, it does by default come up. So 1.2, it's minus 1.2. I think that's okay for now. So when you're happy with that, now we can just mirror this to the other side. Generate mirror, and there you go on the x-axis, and it'll just copy one side. Okay, that looks not too bad for now. Now, whilst we have it mirrored, well, let's add in the bedposts as well. So I'm going to select this face here, and again, I'm just going to press E and just bring that up. Let's bring that up to about 8 meters tall. We might bring it up a little bit higher, but for now, that's not too bad. What we could also do, we'll just do it. So actually, before we do that, I can select that one and just press E and bring that up to 8 meters tall. There you go, that's better. When you press Ctrl Z, just remember when you press E to extrude again, make sure you have removed the extrude, because sometimes if you deselect in between, you are creating multiple faces when you are extruding the object. So no, that's good like that. So now, for now, let's do the mattress. So because we've got our 3D cursor sat in the middle there, that's perfect. I'm going to press Shift A, let's bring in a cube. Make sure everything's deselected before you bring in your cube. I'm going to scale it down on the z-axis. Let's bring it to 0.5 and press GZ. I'm going to bring it up just so it's like just above. There you go, just above the frames there, the slats or the metal poles underneath the bed. Let's scale and press Shift Z. So what that does now, you're scaling, but you're scaling on the X and Y and not on the Z axis. So what I'm doing there, actually I might just press S to scale, yeah, Shift Z, so you're not on the Z axis. We'll scale up to 4 to match the from earlier. Go into tab, I'm going to press G, select this face, press GY, just bring that down a bit. So minus 0.75, and then same up here, GY 0.75. There you go. Then what we're going to do is, when it looks okay, and the reason I've gone right to the edges is because we're going to now round the mattress off. So we're going to click on the mattress, and then we're going to add a modifier, generate a subdivision surface modifier. So as you can see now, it's turned into like this circle. So, but no worries, all we need to do is add in some edge loops. So let's go to tab into edit mode, and then press number 2 for edge select. Just deselect that. Press Ctrl R. We're going to put in 2 edge loops. Left click to confirm, right click to cancel. Scale along the Y axis. Push that up like so. Let's say 2.5. Same again on the other way around. So 2 on that side. Left click to confirm, right click to cancel. Scale along the X axis, and then 2.5. Then left click to confirm. And then we could put one more around at the center. So we just press Ctrl R, left click, right click. I just want to put one around there, just to bulk it up a little bit. There you go, like so. There you go, that don't look too bad. You can always scale it up a bit if you wish. The level of viewports, you can manipulate that if you wish, but just remember, the higher you put this, the more topology there is. The more polygons there are. So I'm going to leave that on 1, and I'm just going to apply this, go into edit mode, and just see how much topology there is. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. 336 tries. Okay, that's all right. We can remove these edge loops and these edge loops. Press Control X, and again, you can still is the same shape. So we have just now removed like 200 tries from that, which is perfectly fine. And then what you can do with that is make sure you put your seams in. So we can put our seams in on all 4 corners. So you can put all 4 corners. If you can't get to it, you can isolate the object by pressing /. And then I'm just going to mark those seams, go into object mode, press /, go back into tab mode, edit mode, and then I'm going to select these faces, Shift and Alt to select all those edges, not faces, sorry. Right click, mark seam, then go into face select all, U, reset, U, unwrap. Again, that's not exactly what it looks like, and we can tell by when we add the C grid on this and switch to our texture. So it don't look too bad, but look, as you can see, there's a lot of stretching. So what I'm going to do is, I want to keep the origin point there because that's in the center. To keep it there, let's just move the 3D cursor to the origin point, and then we're going to press Control A and reset all transforms. So all transforms, and I want to go right click, set origin to 3D cursor, because I want to keep it there. Now, because we've reset transforms and then put them back to where we want them, we can go into edit mode, press U, reset, U, unwrap. And as you can see, now it's unwrapped much nicer. So now that looks far better than what it was a second ago. There you go. So let's go back to our materials and let's go and bring our other objects back. So let's do the headpiece now. So I'm going to go into edit mode, selecting this pole we did earlier. Select this face. I'm going to press Shift S, cursor to selected, and then go to press tab back into object mode, and then deselect everything. So press Shift A, mesh, bring in a cube. As you can see, wherever your 3D cursor is when your cube is, or whatever mesh you bring in will appear. That's why I like to move the 3D cursor around quite a bit, but that's just personal preference. It's a few extra actions, so it might not be suitable for workflow, maybe if you're trying to be quick, but it's your personal preference, I think. GZ, hold control, snap that to the bottom there. We want this. I'm going to scale this down on the active. So I press S, scale that down. I want to scale that down. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to scale that down. I want to try and keep the measurements nice and simple. 0.1. That'll do. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I don't mind that. And then what I can do is, we can move that along. GX, so if we put that about there, so that's -3. We're going to right click, set origin to geometry, and then we're going to add a modifier, and then we're going to add in another array. So let's stick in another array along the X this time, and let's put that at about 3 on there, and let's do a count of 8 and press enter. Okay, let's try 12, enter. Okay, not too bad. So I just press GX, and we're just going to -0.3, put that somewhat kind of in the middle with some gaps at the sides. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I don't mind that. We're going to go into edit mode. We're going to press number 3 for face select. Grab this and then press GZ and bring that up. Let's bring it up to 2 meters. That could be the top of the headboard. Let's bring that up to about 3. There you go, that'll do. And then what we could do is, just to put the bar on top, we can select this, press Shift D, press Z, bring that up. We can snap it on there, or we can go into edit mode, select all, face select, select this bottom face and press Shift GZ, and then snap it to the top there, because that's our active. So that's our active, so we know that's now sitting on the top like so. We can go back to this one, and we can actually remove the faces. We can move the face on this side, and then the face on the inside, like so. Just to reduce some topology. We can shrink this down a bit. The one on the other side we don't want, so we're just going to select that, press L, press X, and then delete faces. I'm going to select the top of this face, GZ, say project to minus 0.35, or something like that. That's fine for now. Okay, so now we've got a kind of like a 4-poster bed. So now let's put a duvet on, and we could put a little one at the front. What we could do, we can duplicate these, put it this side, and then shrink it down for like the foot, for like the way where the footrest is. But let's do a duvet. So again, let's select this mattress, Shift A, cursor to selection, go deselect, Shift A again. Sorry, go to mesh, go to plane. I'm going to bring that up. Actually, I'm going to delete that and start again. I'm going to select this mattress and select this top face and press Shift S and cursor to selected. Now I'm going to bring in my object, mesh, plane, and then I'm just going to scale that up like so. I'm just going to look at it at bird's eye view. Yeah, that's fine. So I can scale that up. I've noticed the mattress is not quite symmetrical, but that's not too bad for now. I'm going to scale that up like so. Just make sure that's not in the bedposts. Oops. Scale along the Y, just bring that down a bit. And then GY, bring that down a little bit more, because that's where the pillows are going to go up top. I'll press GZ and bring that up a little bit. Because what we're going to do is we're going to add some cloth simulation to this, so it's just going to land on the bed. It's quite a short bed by the looks of it. I will need to extend that out, but for the demonstration of this video, you can see making one full clip as I'm recording. Sometimes we make errors all the time. So yeah. So let's just, for now, we're going to add in some edge loops on this. In edit mode, we can just right click and subdivide the mesh. Down here, we have a little dropout, and we can say put in 25 cuts. Okay, that's not too bad. So put in 25 cuts, say 30 cuts. That'll do. Press tab into object mode, and we can now simulate this as cloth. And to do that, we go over here to physics, click on physics, click on cloth, and that's it. We're going to click on the mattress, and we're going to add a collision on the mattress, and we're going to click on these bedposts, and also click a collision on that. So we're going to click on the cloth, and with your timeline at the bottom here, should be set to 0 or 1. You can press play, and as you can see, when it falls, as it's got gravity on, it will just bend over like so, taking effect like a duvet. So press spacebar to pause it on where you like it, so that's okay. You can just right click, convert to mesh, and then you're done. I'm just going to reset that back to 0, close that a little bit. So now you've got your duvet like this, just bending over like this. There's a lot of topology in it, but not to worry. What we can do is we could reduce the topology. We could either decimate it using a modifier, or we could just take out the edge loops. I'm just going to take out the edge loops by selecting all the edges in between, deselecting the two sides, come up here, select edge loops. I don't want to delete all of them, but I'm going to go to checker deselect, and then go select edge loops, and then Control X. And then I'm going to do the same the other way. So take those two off, make that one active, and then select, checker deselect. I think that's okay. Yeah, that'll do. Then go select edge loops. I'm blind. There you go. Control X, and then we have our bedding. This is nice low poly, so that's not too bad. So we can press GZ and bring that up a bit. And now let's add a little bit, let's add a solidify to it. So we're just going to add modifier, generate solidify. We'll right click and go to shade smooth, so we can see it when it's shade smooth. And now we can edit the thickness of the duvet. You can change the offset and thickness. So let's do it like so. Let's change the offset so it's not clipping through the bed. We can always bring that down if we need to, like so. Make it nice and tight. Before we add the solidify on, if you want to add wrinkles, by the way, to the bed, let's just turn that off completely for now. And I'm going to bring it up a little bit. If you want to add wrinkles to the bed, what you can do, you can actually go into sculpt mode. A little bit more intermediate advanced level. We can just go down to there's a little icon here called cloth, and increase the radius a little bit. Strength's okay, and you can just wiggle your mouse along and create some like bent or like cloth-like texture on the plane. Of course, the more topology you have, the better it will look. It's quite low poly at the moment, but it has made a dent. It has made kind of a difference. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So I'm going to press Control Tab, go back to Object Mode, then add modifier, generate solidify. And now I'm just going to press GZ, bring that down. I don't want to make it too thick. I think that's okay. Can adjust the thickness and the offset. I think that's okay, to be honest. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's fine. Obviously, if you'd like to reduce the topology, the count for the topology, you can remove the underneath of the bedding off. It will also free up a lot of texture space as well later on your UV editor. Unless you're wanting to make the covers and pull them off in game engine or program, whatever. So it really depends what you want to do from here on out. If you want to keep it all there, you might use it for a project later on. Sometimes it's good just to keep it all there. And if you do need to edit it, you can come back and probably just do it on the go. But yeah, I like that for now, so I'm just going to apply that. Now, this is an interesting one. I'm now going to show you how to use to make pillows. So again, I'm going to deselect, press Shift A, and go to Mesh. I'm going to bring in a cube, No, actually, I'm not. I'm going to bring in a plane again. I'm going to bring in a plane. I'm going to scale that on the x-axis like so, and then scale that down together. Maybe 0.8. So I'm just going to bring that up. G, Shift, Z. I'm going to bring that somewhere up here. Just going to scale that out a bit. G, Shift, Z. Yeah, that'll be fine for now. I'm going to add in some edge loops. So Tab, Edit Mode, number 2 for Edge Select. Right click, Subdivide. Let's say subdivide as 15 times. Hit Enter. That's not too bad. I'll put 10. What does that look like? Yeah, that's fine. And then I'm going to press E to extrude and bring that up. Only about 0.15. Yeah, 0.15. Put one edge loop around the center here. Left click, right click. And then I'm going to press S to scale. I'm just going to scale that out a little bit. Now that should scale it out like this. That's not too bad. I'm going to press right click and mark seam. I'm going to mark that seam as well. We're going to add some pressure using physics again for this. So back into object mode. I'm just going to press G, Y, just make sure that's away from the bedpost a bit. Yeah, that should be okay. Right. I'm going to now go over to our physics, and we're going to go to cloth. We're now going to go down to pressure. So we're going to enable the pressure. I want to put the pressure at 2, hit enter. And then we also want to make sure we go down to field weights and make sure our gravity is set to 0. Otherwise it will just fall into the abyss. When you have done that, make sure your timeline is set onto 0 again. Just press play and you've created a bouncy pillow. It is floating up, but that would be because it hit the bed. I believe the collision was still on. So if I just pause that and have a look at the mattress, okay, the collision was still on. That's not a problem. I can press cheese it. Oh, no, let's not do that. Try not to edit it when it's in play mode, otherwise you'll have errors. So let's just reset that to 0. GZ, put that up, and then press play. There you go. So when you're happy with that, just pause it. Right click, convert to mesh. So reset that to 0, just close that bit. There you go. Now we'll just press GZ and just bring that down a bit. And then, as you can see, it's nice and low poly. We can right click, shade smooth. If you want to smoothen it out, you could go to sculpt mode, click on grab, or you could just click on smooth. Excuse me. I like to click on grab and then hold control and then just left click. What that does is it smooths it. No, sorry, shift. Yeah, press shift and then left click. It will just smoothen some parts down, but just got to be careful because it's low poly. It might take too much of an effect of smoothness. So you can really edit the pillow as much as you want. You can push it down, make it wavy, you can do all sorts. Okay. Just going to push that up a bit so that can sit on the bed. There you go. Right, let's go back to object mode, control tab, back to object mode. Let's go on side view. Let's rotate this slightly, press G, and we'll just sort of place this roughly where it'll be, like so. Let's duplicate it the other side so we can scale it down if it's too big. But we can press Ctrl A, reset transforms. Then we'll go to the 000 axes, not a problem. We can go to modifier, add modifier, generate mirror. So we can go into edit mode, select all, and then just press GX. We can just adjust that, and then we could also go back into object mode. We can select it all, press U, reset U, unwrap. And then again, go to our materials, add a C grid, check it on the textures. There you go, that looks good. No stretching, that's fine. And then we can duplicate that if we wanted more pillows. So let's just go back to material, object, Shift D in object mode, press Z, bring it up. And then we could always rotate that on the x-axis. And then just press G and place them on top like so. Okay, so there we have it. We have a nice 4-bed post. We could add more going across here up the top. We can do that. So let's press Ctrl R on this bedpost. I want to I'll tell you what, if I select, okay, let's have a look. Are they still mirroring? Yeah, I keep on pressing. Yeah, okay. So apply the collision, apply the mirror. I'll press tab. Actually, I'm going to go back onto the mirror. Go press Ctrl R and put an edge loop around this. Bring that up to about minus 0.85. And that's the same with this one as well. Control R minus 0.85. I'm going to select these faces here and just press E and it'll just come across. So as you can see, it's going straight through it. We don't want that. So we just want to tick the clipping button and then reselect this, or you can press Control Z and redo it. Press GX and then now it comes and it clips into each other. We want to press X, delete the faces in between, so it's just hollow in the middle. We can shrink these down if you wish, and we can select this side and this side, and again you can press E to extrude, and then you can press S on the Y axis, or no, Control Z. You could just actually just select this one here and then just press E and extrude and then hold Control and just snap it like so, because the other side will copy the mirror. And then same again, X to delete face. This one you can also select and press X to delete the face since it was aligned with all the edges. And then we have made a bed frame like that. This could look a little too thick, not a problem. You could always fill in that face at the bottom or mirror these or the head frame, and you can duplicate it and bring it up top. Okay, so just for the demonstration purpose of the video, I'm just going to press Control A, apply the mirror, and press Tab into edit mode. I'm going to select these edge loops going around and press Control X to dissolve because they have snapped together after we mirrored. I'm going to press Select A to select all. This time, instead of UV unwrapping, because I know this is going to be just plain metal, I'm just going to press U, reset, and then U, Smart UV Project, and then click Unwrap. I'll leave it at 66%. As you can see, it has smartly tried to do its best to unwrap all these bedposts. Because it's metal, this isn't too bad. We're just gonna quickly use my UV Pack Master. Just pack that, press End. Yeah, that's fine. We could again add a material, click on C grid, and then change it up here to texture. Yeah, that's not too bad. Sometimes the bigger the texture print here, that means the bigger the resolution. And if it's like a 1K texture map, it could be grainy or pixelated. So the bigger your islands, the more texture you will be able to cover, more detail you will be able to see. So now I'll just be going around this and I'm going to select all of these edges. Select that edge, select that edge, select that edge, select that edge. So we're just going to add seams onto here. Mark seams, select all, U, reset, U, unwrap, add C-grid. Of course, when you finish doing this and you just added the single material on, what you can do is go around and rename them and add separate materials for each piece you want to change to a different texture. Don't worry about making loads of materials because you can bake all these materials together later on in Blender using the bake method, which I'll just briefly show you. When you're baking, so I think it's always good to bake in cycles. So this is an add-on called Simple Bake. Again, it is a paid add-on, but you don't have to use that. You can just use the one that says Bake here. You can just bake your textures all onto one UV map using the default bake options in Blender. Okay, so that is the end of our lesson. I think I'm going to leave it there for now. We're coming close to the hour. Just to remind you, I do free Blender lessons every Monday night. Come and find out. Come and find out what you can learn. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you and have a good day.